Allergies, bacterial infections, skin diseases such as psoriasis and neurodermatitis, or a skin fungus can be the medical reasons why our ears make themselves heard loudly by burning or itching. If you can rule these out, you should consult the vernacular about what the hot hearing organs can be all about. Generations before us were convinced that itching or burning ears meant receiving signals from the metaphysical world. In the simplest case, our ancestors thought that someone was talking about us or thinking about us. But the possibilities of interpretations are much more extensive. The most common interpretations of what hot ears might mean from a spiritual point of view are presented here. 1. Right or left. Our body is not really as symmetrical as it seems. On the whole, the arrangement of our organs is certainly balanced, but they all represent different functions. Even our brain differentiates in the processing of information and impressions, whether these fall more in the area of responsibility of the right or the left brain hemisphere. So it is not surprising that also the tradition in the case of our hot ears tends to differences here. Roughly summarized, one can say that the side, at which the burning or itching occurs spontaneously, distinguishes over good or bad of the message. However, there are regional differences in interpretation here. In some countries, if the right ear itches or burns, someone is speaking good about us. The left ear, on the other hand, catches the negative vibrations when someone blasphemes or spreads unflattering rumors about us. Another interpretation associates the side with the gender of the sender of these messages. The feminine is attributed more to the left side, the masculine traditionally more to the right. And of course, the final deciding factor in the interpretation of such spiritual signs is our attitude of mind. If we are optimists, we will tend to regard the itching or burning of an ear as good news from someone close to us. The pessimists, on the other hand, will always think of the negative first. If both ears speak synchronously, we are the subject of a conversation that is objective and neutral. In any case, the spiritual world is convinced that burning or itching ears require our attention. Here we receive signals from a higher level, which should warn us, or at least make us attentive. 2. Do we hear the grass growing? Burning or itching ears in the morning or in the evening just before going to sleep are considered spiritual premonitions. Here again, there are different opinions about what exactly the right or left side means. Decide best according to your gut feeling whether you want to regard this cosmic message as a good or bad omen. In this context, it may help to briefly consider what our ears do in real life. As a sensory organ, they are a fundamental team player in communication and knowledge acquisition. The finer our hearing, the more information is available to us. Those who send their ears to the starting line hand in hand with their intuition will always be better informed than the rest, and a nose ahead. That with these powerful receivers also comes a certain amount of responsibility is taught to us by another aphorism on this subject. The eavesdropper on the wall hears his own shame. We have been given ears to get through life well. They do not serve to cross boundaries and interfere in matters that are none of our business. 3. Whispers from the spirit world. Those who are interested in the mythological or spiritual meaning of the suddenly inflamed ears will quickly find what they are looking for. The father of the gods of the Vikings, Odin, for example, had his two ravens Hugin thinking, and Munin remembering, sitting on his left and right shoulders. They reported to him everything they observed in the world by whispering their impressions directly into his ear. Assuming that Odin's ravens were only visible to the gods, but not always to humans, this animalistic messaging of the divine kind would sovereignly explain a pair of hot ears. In Christian lore, the ears get an upgrade of a very special kind. Thus, the Immaculate Conception of Saint Mary is said to have taken place by the Holy Spirit, entering her ear in the form of a dove. Our sense organs, which today we use for the most part only as a mere integrated hearing aid, thus assumed a much more prestigious status in earlier times. But also, the evil can find entrance into our soul through our ear. The devil himself blows it in. The saying, "Who put that in your ear?" goes back to this idea. Greek mythology also knows the unholy alliance between our hearing and the threat of evil intentions to our peace of mind. Half of Odysseus's crew succumbed to the siren's song. These use their voice to drive travelers to madness and certain death. The interplay between the subconscious and our auditory canal is revealed by the bon mot having a flea in our ear. When we can't get one thing out of our minds and we have to think about it constantly, it's really our ears reminding us that this one intuition could be of the highest relevance to us. 4. To whom do we lend our ear? The burning and itching of our auricles haunts us at a variety of times. We can't always choose the place either. The reason for this is simple. Here, the subconscious appeals to us, not our conscious. Someone or something wants to get through to us, wants us to open up and be all ears. The situation is different when we consciously decide to listen to someone and lend him or her our ear. Our hearing organ is then available for the exchange of information. But first it is necessary that it simply listens, free of prejudice and completely unprejudiced. We cannot learn anything about our fellow human beings if we listen with only half an ear or if deafening noise distracts us from doing so. In these situations, we are present and devote all our senses to this one person and this conversation. It is then not necessary that the ears also itch or burn, because we are already exactly all ears. Message without words. Ears that make themselves felt by sudden burning or itching receive messages that we cannot or not yet hear. The poet Georg Christoph Lichtenberg paraphrased this metaphysical fact thus: the vibration of the air becomes sound only where there is an ear. So if our ears react even though there is no sound to be heard far and wide, it is probably not of this world. Similar to goosebumps, this reaction, if there are no underlying physical causes, cannot be explained medically. Ear aches that spontaneously begin to itch or burn can therefore certainly be understood as a supernatural message service. Perhaps they convey a warning. Perhaps they announce good news. Under certain circumstances, however, they also remind us that we did not really listen to a person when it mattered. Because, as the saying goes, if you don't want to hear, you have to feel.